ZeBirdBrain here, and today we are talking about the tint panel. Now, this is not an exhaustive video about how to handle your color palettes, and I advise getting professional training on the matter if you have lots of questions. This is just a 5-minute tips and tricks video about how to play with your existing color palettes. But if you're not familiar with the concept of color palettes, let me know in the comments below and I might do a video about it in the future. In the meantime, I suggest you check out the link in the description below to check out Toon's official documentation. Alright, so I'm just going to show you quickly how you can change from one palette to another. So it's very simple. Your palettes are located here, and the one that is going to show up in your scene by default is the one that is on top of the others, which is how I can switch from all my different palettes. And fun thing is that you can even change while your animation is playing. Alright, so without further ado, let's start and create a new palette. So for this video, I'll be using Woo's existing palette, and fun thing is that you can switch between seasons. So this is the fall Eladrin, and this is the winter one. And thanks to Harmony, I can just switch between palettes if I want to have one or the other in a scene, which is great. So you can right click on your palette, and now what you want is to clone your palette. And I clone it. This new palette will have the same colors, and even if I change this one to like green, if I put it on top, it will change the color to green, because Harmony works a little bit like, you know, these paint by numbers painting that you can buy at the store where you like fill the numbers with the right paint. Well, this is what Harmony is doing. So the hair is not hair, it's like color ID number like 12 or something. So if I change this one, it will still be connected to the other palette. All right, so I know this doesn't make sense, I explained it very quickly, but yeah, so this is a little bit of how it works, and this is why the tricks will also work. Alright, so like I said, you right click, get to clone, and then you're gonna name it. So I will create a night palette for this one. So it's night, I press OK, and now I have another palette right here. So once your clone is done, make sure it's showing up on top of your other palettes, like this. You press on the little arrow here, and you simply bring it up. Alright. And now you can right click again on your palette, and what we're going to select is the tint panel. So the tint panel, you have your colors on the left, you have a little drop box here to choose what palette you want to use, and you have the 3 modes here that you can switch in between. Now don't forget to reset your colors each time you want to affect them, otherwise if I change something here, and I change it, and I apply it, and then I change something else, the changes are still here, so be sure to reset it every time. If you want to choose your color, you can pick them one by one. You can also click and shift to select a bunch of them, or you can also click and hold control to select different ones. Or you can mix and match the technique. Sometimes I like to select a bunch and then unselect some of them with control. So it's very easy to play around. Here you have the preview to preview your colors. So it's just a tint panel, it's very useful. I love to use it. Alright, so the tint panel, it has 3 different modes that you can use. Personally, I do most of what I need with the offset mode, but you also have a blend and a mixer that I'm going to explain to you in a moment. So let's say that I want to create a night palette for this character. Instead of going into Photoshop and changing my hue and saturation and then bringing it back and color picking, forget it. You can just take your colors. I'm going to take them all because it's quicker. This is also why it's important to note your colors well, just saying. So I select all my colors, and now I go into one of these modes. I'll start with the offset because it's the easiest. It's basically a hue and saturation mode. So the amount is how much you want to change these colors. So I'm going to put it to 100 so we really see what's going on. And now if I play with this, you see that the colors are going to change. So this is my hue slider, but it would be better to see it on the character, so be sure to press on preview, and it will change your character's palette. Alright, so we want to do a night palette, so I won't be playing with the hue and saturation much. So I'm going to set back to 0. And for a night palette, usually I remove a little bit of red, and I will add a little bit of blue. So it's very subtle to see now, but if I push it, you'll see that there's no more red, there's lots of blue. So this is how I usually handle my palette. So for a night palette, I'll just tone down the red, pump up the blue a little bit, and of course take the values and bring them down just a little bit. And then you press apply, and it will tint all your palettes at once, so then you don't need to play with the swatches one by one. This is really great. And then if I close it and I change, you see that this is day, this would be night, so it's very easy to just switch around. Alright, so let's create another one. I will right click, clone it, and now I'm gonna make a alternative color or something. Gonna go here, go get my palette, bring it on top, boop, boop, boop. Right click, tint panel. I could have just left it open, but I just have a reflex to close everything. Don't know why. Let's say that I want to take him and change his hair color. I'm gonna take all his hair colors. Oh, before I need to reset it. This is important. Reset. And I will simply shift the hue and saturation. And then you can just change the hair color like that. It's very, very easy to do it. And it can help you maybe try to find some colors for your character. Alright, so now we just learned how to use the offset. I'm going to show you quickly how to work with the other. So the blend is similar to the offset, but instead of offsetting your color, it's going to blend it with the color you're going to make out here, okay? So I'll reset it, and I'll go take my whole character. I will put them on here. So now my color is black, but if you change it with this little slider here, sometimes I go and I create a very, very dark blue, like this. And I blend it a little bit with my color, so then I can tint them with a little bit of blue. And the mixer is like, you're gonna have two colors that you create, blend these two colors together, and then blend your colors with this one. It's a little bit overkill for me, because I'm not that much of a color artist, so I usually stick with the offset and the blend mode. And I can't help you much with the mixer, because it kind of confuses my brain. But, yeah, I don't know. If you try it and you like it, let me know. I usually just play with blend and offset because they're my favorites. So for the last part of this video, I'm just going to show you a little thing I like to make with color palettes. Okay, so when I work with different color palettes, so this character, like I said, he shifts colors between seasons. So summer, fall, winter, and spring. So when I make my palettes, I like to have all my characters side by side. And then if I change, for example, the winter one, and I want to change the hair color to something else, I can just take it and then just go and change it. And I can still see all my other characters with their original palette. So how am I doing this? It's actually pretty simple. Let me show you my node view right here. Sorry, boys. Gonna have to... This is his original palette, by the way. He's a little autumn boy. Alright, so I have my rig right here. And then my rig is going through a little simple lighting system. If I turn it off. And I take this rig, and what I did is I created a bunch of apply peg transformations to have the character, to have the character offset from the others. And under each copy, what I did is I put a color override that only lets one of these palettes go through.
So this color override is the original palette. This one is for summer. This one is for winter. And the last one is for spring.
Now, of course, I'm using color overrides for this. So in the OpenGL view, it doesn't look amazing, I must say. But it's still enough for me to just play with my colors. And then if I want to see the real deal, I can just go into render and I can see my colors right side by side. I think it's a very quick and powerful way to have all your colors exposed. And then if you make some exports, it's easy to just have them all side by side. So you know how
lazy
I am. So usually this system, I just have it banked in my library. So I would do something like put this up, and then I'll just copy paste this in my library. Oh, this is Z's rig. Hello. And just paste it there and say that this is my color palette system. And yeah, I would just have to connect my rig in the composite, and then whoop, it would just flow through there, and I just have to change what palette this color override sees. So I hope you learned a bunch of things, and I hope that this will be useful for you in your production. And I will see you next week in another little tutorial about harmony. Thank you for coming, and please feel free to share these with your friends so that everybody can learn and everybody can get better. And if you ever get better than